So, how much does it really cost to hold an investment property? Now, everyone talks about how much money you can make from having an investment property, but no one really talks about how much it costs to hold an investment property year on year. As discussed in previous videos, the profit of holding a property and your return on investment is how much do you have to put into it on a yearly basis, accumulative over the years that you have it, how much you sell it for, and then that's your profit. So half of the equation is actually the holding costs of a property. And in today's video, we're going to do a deep dive into this to uncover all of the costs so you can keep this front of mind when you're out there looking for property. So having a look at the big picture, why are property holding costs so important? Well, when you hold an investment property, the longer you can hold it, the more growth cycles you will have. So realistically, if we can get holding costs managed and cash flow managed, you're more likely to be able to hold the asset for a longer period of time through more growth cycles and therefore make more money. Now, there's 4 big costs when it comes to holding an investment property. So let's step you through these now. The first is obviously interest and borrowing costs. And this is for most people why shopping around for a very good interest rate is highly important, but also choosing the right type of loan and the right structure of loan, whether it be interest only or principal and interest, in order to maximize their cash flow and also minimize their holding costs. The next holding cost is obviously property management fees. Now these vary depending where you are in the country. So in some markets, they can be as low as 5%. In other markets, they can be as high as 9%. Now, it's not only the weekly cost of the property management fee, but you've also got letting fees, advertising, and reports that need to be created as part of the leasing process. The next one is sadly the most irritating for many property investors, and this is strata fees, land tax, and rates. Now, these silent little killers are things that you never think about when you're purchasing a property, and they're usually something that you don't really uncover the full extent of until you've owned the property for a full 12 months. But always urge people to do as much research on these 3 as you possibly can before you secure your purchase. Now, the 4th section is compliance and things that you need to do to keep the investment property ticking along. From a compliance point of view, we're talking about accountancy fees, taxation, things like that. We're also talking about keeping your property compliant for the law, which might be things like smoke detectors, smoke detector inspection, and then finally, maintenance. We're going to need to put aside a budget each year to spend on things just to maintain the property and keep it up to a livable standard. Now, before you make any purchase, I'd really encourage you to do an estimation of the cash flow and the taxation outcome of every property. Now, you don't need to necessarily have access to the software or tools to do this. Most good mortgage brokers, financial planners, accountants, or buyer's agents or property advocates will have access to software that will be able to run an analysis for that particular property, the amount of money that you're borrowing, the interest rate that you're borrowing, with the likely outgoings, including rates and water and land tax and all that kind of thing, to give you a cash flow outcome, and also based on your income, personal income I'm talking about, will be able to give you the taxation outcome of owning that property as well. So I definitely encourage you to run all the numbers for every property that you're looking at through a property investment analysis software to get the end number as far as cash flow and taxation for each property that you're looking at. Now, although we've done all the research in the world to try and determine what the cash flow of the property is going to be, there is still another 4 sections that we need to consider very long term, but take into our math and numbers. Number 1 is vacancy periods. Now, we always want our property to be tenanted 52 weeks of the year, but in some certain circumstances, you're going to have periods of vacancy. It may be when a tenant moves out. If it's an awkward time of the year, they move out the week before Christmas or something like that. you might have to consider temporarily some cash flow shortages. The next one would probably be interest rates. Although we can factor in today what the interest holding costs are going to be, we don't know what they're going to do in the future. They can rise and fall year on year, so we need to have some buffers in place to allow for what if rates go up or down by 3% kind of either way. The next section would be capital expenditure. Although we always try and find a property that we think will get good longevity out of kitchens and bathrooms and external paint, internal paint, inevitably these capital expenses will creep in. If you hold a property for 20 years, at some point in time, we're going to need to do a kitchen or a bathroom to it. So we need to forecast and just be aware that large capital expenditure may be required long-term to keep the rental income flowing in. And the final one is the silent killer, which is land tax. As your property increases in value, you may actually trip into your state's land tax thresholds. You might buy a property that is exempt from land tax and 10 years down the track, find out that your value of your property has crept into land tax territory. Now, very hard to forecast what's going to happen in 10 years' time, but always keep in the back of your mind, land tax might become an issue for you one day. So consider what the land tax thresholds are in the state that you're purchasing and make sure that you're well clear of the mark before you start. Now, I consider a holding cost taxation, and maybe not taxation as you think about it, but not claiming enough tax deductions is actually a holding cost issue. We can always minimize our holding costs by getting more tax back. So the way I do this is making sure that we have depreciation reports in place. We are maximizing every possible deduction that we can that relates to the property, obviously inside the rules and regulations of the ATO. As a mortgage broker, we look at maximizing the way we claim our interest and our borrowing costs and making sure that all of our interest and borrowing costs are correctly accounted for and are correctly deducted against the incoming rent. This then helps you get the biggest possible tax return. The tax return obviously minimizes your holding costs for the property. So now we've outlined this, what are the tips and tricks for keeping your holding costs as low as possible? Number one, always shop around on your loans, review loans every 12 months. Loyalty really doesn't pay, so make sure you're getting the best possible deal from your lender. The next one is insurances. So shop around for your insurances, your building insurance. Also have a look at your cost of strata. If you're on the body corp for the building that you've invested in, shop around for the cheapest possible way to have your strata managed as well. The next one is going to be consider budgeting over a shorter period of time. If you know that the property is going to be negatively geared and you can accurately forecast how much it is going to affect your tax, then you can also put in a PAYG withholding variation with the ATO, with your employer, and then you can then adjust your cash flow by adjusting your taxation on a weekly or monthly basis. Really maximizing what you're doing from a property management point of view, having a really good property manager, because long-term tenants tend to pay more and pay on time. And finally, last tip, always keep yourself a 3 to 6 month cash flow buffer so you can ride out the highs and lows. Being able to ride out the highs and lows of your cash flow of your properties will enable you to keep your properties longer and obviously make more money long term. So if you'd like a hand getting a really good hold on your property, either the one that you own or the one that you're looking to purchase, reach out to us. We talked about software earlier in the video, and we have access to that software. We can run all the math and numbers and let you know what your current property looks like and also what any other potential properties that you're looking at are going to look like from a holding cost point of view and also from a taxation point of view as well. We also have the ability to review your loans and let you know if we can save you some money here and there on your yearly interest holding and borrowing costs as well. So reach out, click on the link below, set a meeting with myself or one of my team, and as always, like and subscribe to our channel for more videos just like this.